The Axis Unseen Review, a horror game from the developer of Skyrim and Fallout. Axis Unseen is a survival horror experience from one of the senior developers behind Starfield, Skyrim, and Fallout. It's unlikely that you've heard of Nate Perkypile before. Perkypile is a video game developer and designer with over 20 years of experience, having worked as a lead developer at Bethesda for 14 years and having been involved in the creation of major games such as Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim and even Starfield. Now, after 20 years of working for various companies, he has decided to make a game similar to Skyrim and Fallout on his own. The result of this thinking is the open-world game The Axis Unseen, which was released a few days ago exclusively for PC via the Steam and Epic stores for $25. The creator of The Axis Unseen describes it as a heavy metal horror game, which you have to hunt monsters based on local beliefs and legends in an open world. The truth is that the game itself is not very different from this description. The Axis Unseen is a special work in the hunting genre that takes place in a strange apocalyptic world. In this game, you play the role of a hunter who must hunt demonic creatures in a vast world. These demonic creatures are designed based on local stories, beliefs, and legends. The frightening nature of these monsters, along with the incredibly attractive graphics of the game, has created a frightening and daunting atmosphere. If we want to talk more about the graphics of the game, you should know that this game was made with the Unreal Engine 5 graphics engine. So in terms of graphics, it is completely better than Mr. Perkypile's previous games, and you need at least an RX 580 graphics card to run it. The vast world of the game is a combination of forests, plains, demons, and old ruins. Since Perkypile was one of the senior environment designers in the Fallout and Skyrim series, he has been able to design the Axis Unseen's environments in a way that is both attractive and daunting, and it really makes you want to spend hours exploring the vast world of this game. Your main weapon and companion in the Axis Unseen is the bow and arrow. At the beginning of the game, you only have wooden arrows. Over time, you can unlock other arrows, such as fire arrows, wind control arrows, and time control arrows. These types of arrows are necessary to deal with various monsters. The interesting thing is that you can achieve interesting mechanisms by combining these arrows. For example, if you shoot a fire arrow and then shoot a wind control arrow after it, you can increase the speed of the fire by increasing the wind flow. The bow and arrow itself has very good feedback, and every time you shoot it at a monster, you feel the arrow hitting its body like a shotgun bullet. Even the blood that comes out of the monsters is a bit exaggerated, which in itself increases the pleasure of shooting arrows. The gameplay is based on stealth and environmental observation. So if you are looking for an action-packed game like Skyrim, The Axis Unseen may not be the right choice for you. Over time, you can improve your stealth capabilities, which makes the game easier, but in general, one of the main drawbacks that we can find in The Axis Unseen is the excessive intelligence of the enemies. So that even with the best stealth capabilities, they can easily find you. One of the important elements in the stealth processes of this game is the type of ground you walk on. because the amount of sound you produce from walking depends on the type of ground you walk on. In addition, You should always use the devices you have to measure the direction of the wind. Because even if your body odor goes to the monsters, they can find you. In short, you have to be aware of everything at all times, and monsters will find you much easier than you think. The interesting thing about the Axis Unseen is that the game has no UI or on-screen elements. That is, no number showing how much life you have left, no number showing how many arrows you have, and no message indicating whether you can use your powers or not. Everything happens in the game itself. For example, when you check your equipment and want to check the wind direction, you can see in your other hand how many arrows are left. Or with the light emitted from your bow, you can gauge the amount of life left, the amount of sound you are producing, and the readiness of your powers. Over time, by killing different monsters, you can upgrade your bow's capabilities and power and even gain new capabilities. For example, after a while, you can see smells in the air or feel the heat of monsters' footprints. These capabilities help you find and hunt them faster. Even finding the game's storyline is not that easy. Sometimes a light in the sky will show you the location of the next mission. But that's about all the game can help you with. You guessed it, with a world this big, this game doesn't even have a map. In terms of story, we can't give the Axis Unseen a high score, but if you're looking for a story, you can piece together the events from the drawings and text left over from previous hunters. These texts will help you understand where these monsters came from and how you can stop them from entering the real world. Keep in mind that the story section of this game will take around 20 hours to complete, and of course, there is a new Game Plus mode. So there is enough content to keep you busy for hours. In terms of story, we can't give the Axis Unseen a high score, but if you're looking for a story, you can piece together the events from the drawings and text left over from previous hunters. These texts will help you understand where these monsters came from and how you can stop them from entering the real world. Keep in mind that the story section of this game will take around 20 hours to complete, and of course, there is a new Game Plus mode. So there is enough content to keep you busy for hours. At the beginning of the review, we said that the developer of the Axis Unseen considers it a horror and heavy metal game. The heavy metal part of it refers to the game's music. Unlike most hunting and survival games that use soft music to increase concentration, the Axis Unseen has turned to a heavy metal style, which we can say is a relatively good match with its legendary monsters. If you are a fan of this genre of music like me, the game's music will definitely appeal to you. Finally, unlike Porcupill's previous projects, the Axis Unseen doesn't bear any resemblance to the Fallout or Skyrim series. In fact, the only thing that the Axis Unseen has in common with those games is its open world. The Axis Unseen is a hunting game that expects you to consider everything when hunting legendary monsters. The game doesn't hold your hand or help you along the way. You're alone in a vast world, and you have to learn how to adapt to it and survive as a hunter. The Axis Unseen is a fascinating survival and hunting game created by the senior developer of the Fallout and Skyrim series. It may still have room for improvement, but when you consider that it was created from scratch by one person, you overlook all these shortcomings. The game's environment and monsters are designed to be extremely attractive, which, along with its heavy metal music, provides you with a vast apocalyptic space that you can immerse yourself in for hours. There is no second-by-second tutorial in this game, and if you want to survive in this terrifying world, you have to even consider where you step or the direction of the wind. Strengths: excellent graphics and visuals, thanks to Unreal Engine 5, various legendary monsters based on local stories. Attractive music that fits the mood of the game, challenging and breathtaking gameplay. Vast world and lots of content, made by one person. Weaknesses: overly difficult in the first few hours. No map or navigation.
If you like this video, like it now, and become a member of our family by pressing the subscribe button. Activate the bell so you never miss our interesting videos.